This is my first one of Wild Leap.
All right, I'm excited for you. And we are live. Hello again, all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Nelly of Georgia Beer Reviews back at you this evening with a special examination. Michael got his hands on some Wild Leap beer finally from LaGrange, Georgia. Excited for him to try this one. We've got the Wild Leap Partners in Crema Coffee Stout. It's 10% alcohol by volume, and it also has cocoa and coconut added. Now, Wild Leap Brew Co. was voted the #1 best new craft brewery in America back in 2018 when they were founded. They make some great stuff. So let's go ahead and get into these beers. I know you're excited. I'm excited as well. This is a seasonal beer. They release it every winter, and I really like it, and I'm hoping you do as well.
Jesse was saying that you sent him some and he liked it.
I sent him one. I think he rated it a 48 or 49 out of 50 on the 50-point scale. So I know, yeah, he really enjoyed it. There's my pour right there.
Mine is pretty nice too. Nice. Would you say the head is beige?
I would say more on the tan side. It's not really as dark. But tan or beige. I'm getting about a 2-finger head on mine.
Very dark brown. You really can't see through it too well.
It is, yeah. It's not quite jet black though. When I hold it up to the light, I see just a little bit of brown coming through on the sides of the glass.
Very dark brown.
Very dessert-like on the aroma.
Let me smell
it. What are you getting on the nose there, Michael?
Weirdly, I'm getting a cinnamon thing. I didn't see that as one of the flavors that's in there.
Interesting. Okay.
Maybe it's not cinnamon. Let me go over my smell a little bit here.
I think maybe it's the combination of the coffee and the coconut kind of maybe comes across as
coffee and the coconut for me is creating kind of a cinnamon vibe for some reason.
I can see that.
I can smell the coffee as well, and I can smell the coconut as well too. But there's kind of like a cinnamon under thing going on for me.
And this stout does have on the side of the label, it does say this beer contains lactose, so it should be getting.
Well, I can see also if you take a look at your head and the way it regenerates, it has that creamy, that kind of creamy look that a lot of lactose beers do have. So
right,
which is kind of cool. The nose is really nice, by the way.
Good. Yeah, I was wondering what you think. Well, once we get into it, I'll get a better understanding of what you think. But the coconut, I know you've had issues with coconut beers in the past, like the Oscar Blues. Death by Coconut, you weren't really a fan of that because you said it tasted artificial. So,
but that's just one beer. I've had other coconut beers that I like. So I mean, I'm not like you and Robert where I love coconut, but I like it.
Yeah, no, I'm a coconut freak for sure. I love anything coconut.
Are you ready to go in for a sip?
I'm ready. Go for it.
Cheers. Wow. This is really good. And you can't taste the 10% either. Right off the bat, you cannot taste the alcohol.
It's dangerously smooth. Wow. And I like how the coffee balances with the beer so well. The coconut and the coffee are perfectly balanced with the chocolate and the other flavors in the beer. I've talked about this many times before. A lot of times when you put coffee in a beer, these breweries they tend to overdo it, and the coffee is the only thing you pick up on because it's so strong, and it makes the beer kind of one-dimensional. I really like how you can kind of taste a little bit of everything, but I want you to describe what you're picking up before I go into it anymore. This is your first.
Okay, I don't even think the coffee is necessarily the lead. It's just the combination of the coffee with the other flavors to me. I can taste the coconut too.
Mm-hmm. Is it a natural tasting coconut to
Yes,
you?
this is really good coconut. See, the other now again, you thought the other coconut was natural tasting in the one from Oscar Blues. So maybe it was the fact that not being as used to coconut beers, I kind of thought that was the reason. Sometimes when you have a beer once, maybe it's not fair. Maybe if I'd had it a second time, I would have liked it more.
I was thinking maybe because the coconut with that one was so strong that maybe it came across like that, because it is definitely very coconut forward. This one is more subtle, more balanced with everything else. But
see, I don't get any cinnamon in the taste. That was just in the smell. So like you said, maybe that was the combination of the coffee and the coconut.
I think it's that combination of ingredients that creates that effect.
But this is really well balanced. I mean, it's like they put like a perfect melding of the different flavors, and it's so smooth. And this is really dangerous.
Yeah, nice head retention, some glass.
I can't taste alcohol. Doesn't even taste like a session.
Yeah, I was really impressed with how well the alcohol was hidden, and especially considering it's not a barrel-aged beer, so you're not getting any booziness whatsoever. Like 10% with a barrel-aged beer, you would be picking up on some of the alcohol with that high of an ABV. Not getting any with this at all. And maybe the lactose in there kind of smooths it out a little bit to hide the alcohol, but whatever they did with this, it's amazing how well that alcohol is masked. I'm getting some nice chocolate notes as well. Obviously, you're getting the roasted malt in there, but they actually add cocoa to this beer. So you're getting like what kind of chocolate are you picking up on? Is it?
It's a mild chocolate though. It's not like
not like dark, not really like a dark chocolate, right?
More like a milk kind of chocolate, maybe.
Josh says cheers. Bumpy Bumpy says, Michael, I want you to adopt me. I'll send the court documents.
This stuff is amazing.
I'm glad you like it. Yeah, this is one of my favorites.
Of the ones we've done. Now, we only did one other one with you, the double IPA. This is much better. This is going to get closer to the top end as far as my rating scale goes.
Oh, well, now that I think about it, that one that we had, it was a double IPA, but that was also from Wild Leap.
Yeah, so that was the first Wild Leap one I had.
So this is actually your second Wild Leap.
My second Wild Leap. I like this one better. But I like stouts probably better than IPAs in this current stage of my life anyway. So
right.
I think. I don't know. It's funny now. If you look at my beer progression, I started out as mostly an IPA person once I started drinking craft beer. But once I seem to tilt toward more stouts, I've kind of converted, it seems. I still drink IPAs, but they're not my favorite style anymore.
Right. Yeah, stouts and sours are really my two favorite. And then the New England IPAs are probably top 5.
I like sours too. I like Belgian beers a lot too. All the styles, quads, triples, doubles. Mm-hmm. But it depends. I don't like every one. I like some. I don't like every single Belgian. Every brewer. I just like some of the different styles. I don't know. The combination of the smoothness with the way they've been able to put it together. I guess the lactose, it gives it a creaminess as well. It's really good.
Yeah, I would say too, like with the body on this, the lactose, it is more on the heavy side, but the lactose smooths it out to the point where it's almost like a high medium. I mean, it is a heavy hitter, obviously, but with the lactose and the really smooth mouthfeel, I would say that it's more on the medium side and not really into the full heavy range with the body and the mouthfeel. What do you think about that?
I think so. I think it's a medium mouthfeel heading toward heavy, but it's still a high medium.
Right.
It's definitely toned down, and I like the different combinations that they've put together where you do have a little bit of the chocolate, you have the coffee, you have the coconut all together, and they've done a really good job of, putting those flavors together. And it's complex in a way because some other brewers wouldn't be able to put the flavors together this well.
I agree. Yeah.
So I'm having a good Wild Leap experience, as they say.
Good. Yes, I'm very glad at some of these beers. As good as the beers you sent me, where I wanted to be able to send you some of George's best. It's just I'm kind of at the mercy of the season, because thankfully this time of year they're putting out all these really good, stouts and stuff. So I get my hands on all the best, but it's.
And for 10%, it's hard to believe it could taste like this. Audrey has to get the phone. Let's see who it is. It might be my daughter. It'll be over quickly. She'll get it by the second.
From Komaroff.
It's over. She got it. It's funny. We haven't spoken to my daughter all day, so I knew she was going to call, and I knew it could be during this. Okay, so they think this is Area 51. It's actually middle school.
Okay.
where my daughter went to junior high school, but whatever. It happens to be that number, so people kind of think that I'm into UFOs and.
What do you think about the carbonation? Are you getting any carbonation with yours?
I actually think it's well carbonated, but it's not over carbonated. It's kind of that middle of the road. But they've done a good job with that too, because you really don't want your stouts to be highly carbonated. You want them to be kind of in the mid range. And this one to me is in the middle range, but it's really good.
So Bumpy, I did not. And Nelly cheaped on you, Michael. Pontoon is where I sent him some pontoon stuff too, Bumpy. Slow your roll there, Bumpy.
And you like the pontoon stuff as well, so I'm sure that's going to also be good.
Pontoon and Wild Leap are my two favorite Georgia craft breweries. I think they just put out outstanding beers, and they're always coming out with new stuff. And they're creative with their approach to different styles. The pontoon one that I sent you, or one of the ones I sent you, the quad stack is actually a Belgian quad with maple syrup and something else in there, and it's the way that it comes across is absolutely incredible in my opinion. So
I'm looking forward to doing that one with you too. Plus, I'm also in the hunt now for a Dogfish Head 120, so we can do one that Bumpy sent you. And I know I can get them. It's just a matter of finding it.
Right. So Bumpy, if you're still watching, make sure you save one or get one of the Dogfish Head 120. We'll do an examination of that at some time here in the next month or two. So I am going to let you. Bumpy says pontoon is his favorite. Okay, better than the Wild Leap, huh? All right. And Bumpy can actually get some of the, maybe not in New Hampshire, but I know in Boston, pontoon has started distributing up there. At least some of the New England area. So that's, and they're still craft. They're out of Sandy Springs, Georgia. They weren't bought out or anything. So I think that's pretty cool that they're doing well enough that they've extended their distribution up north. Josh. Wow. Josh has a 2016 120. We'll hold on to it, Josh, and we'll, get to hear what you think. We'll do a live examination.
Sitting around. So it starts out from the time I did have it, John, as a barley wine anyway. So his will be even more like a barley wine by now. If it sat in the bottle for going on 5 years.
Right.
I'm double impressed with this stuff. I think it's amazing.
Awesome. Well, I will let you give your rating first, since this is your first time trying it. I reviewed it a couple years ago. I'm not sure what I gave it, but I know it was definitely up in the world-class range somewhere.
Okay, I'm going to give it a 98. And I don't give hundreds, so the only other thing I could give is a 99. And I guess the reason I'm not giving it a 99 is I'm not looking for anything specific. It's just it's there, and I've only given 99s to Bourbon County and to the CBS, I think, in the course of my history. Maybe this is just a little bit less in what it, but 98 is world class.
And that's what I'm going to give it to. I was thinking, and I say this a lot, what could make this better? Not much, but maybe if they barrel aged it, it would get a 99. Give it that extra depth of flavor with the barrel aging. but then it might be boozy. I mean, I don't know. It's already sitting at 10%, so who knows? But yeah, I'm with you. 98 out of 100. It's the alcohol's masked really well. The chocolate, the cocoa, the coconut, and that coffee, they're all perfectly balanced together. You're getting some nice roasty, toasty bready notes in the middle as well. So some nice malt character. And it is sweet and dessert-like, but it's not cloying. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't want to drink a lot of these. It would be a one-and-done type scenario because of the sweetness and the alcohol. But I think for what it is, I think it's beautifully done. And I will continue to buy it every year as long as they make it, because this is one of my favorites from them.
Very good. I'm enjoying it as well. And just the combination where you can have the alcohol toned down to this extent is incredible for me. It just shows you that you can make a 10% beer taste like a 4% beer or a 5% beer. It's pretty amazing just by having that different combination of the flavors that you're able to put together. And for it to be a coffee stout that really is not so coffee forward makes it even that much better.
I agree, yeah. Because like I said, so many breweries just overdo it. It's overkill with the coffee, but they did it beautifully with this one.
And they talk up that they're getting it from these great coffee manufacturers, but you can't put in so much that it overpowers the beer. I mean, you want to have other flavors than the coffee.
Right.
I'm very happy with this one.
Good. Yeah, I think we've got one more stout to do from Wild Leap, which is going to be the it's that cinnamon roll stout. The I can't even think of the name of it off the top of my head, but that one's 12.5%. So that one's even stronger.
And I have the one that you sent me, the Orpheus Revolution, that I'm going to do with Audrey, which is another stout. That was a donut stout, I think.
Yeah, it's a coffee chocolate donut stout. It's based off of one of the – so Revolution Donuts is actually a donut place, and it's a collaboration. Orpheus Brewery out of Atlanta, Georgia, collaborated with the Revolution Donut people to create their coffee chocolate, double chocolate donut and turn it into a stout. And that's what they did. I think that one's 10% as well. So I'll be interested to see what you and Audrey think about that. It's really good too. I mean, it's up there. They use three types of chocolate.
I didn't watch your review, but your review is on YouTube of that. I can watch that before we do it as well, because you did a review of that on YouTube.
Yeah, just a few days. Once I found out that you wanted to drink that one with Audrey, I was like, well, I'm not going to hold. I'm just going to go ahead and drink this. So,
no, see, I can look at somebody's review and I can still be impartial when I do it or when I taste it, because everybody's taste buds are different. Something, generally speaking, on items like this, though, we're going to be fairly similar because of the style. But on one where there's different tastes, it might be slightly different. So what's Josh saying is 11.5%?
He is drinking a 2015 Retribution Stout from Duclaw tonight. Josh Abrams, he's kind of newer to the scene as far as hanging out with us and everything. He has some of the best beers, and he obviously has a little bit of a cellar going on, because I have seen him drink some really nice aged stuff. He was talking earlier in the chat. He's got a 2017 CBS that he's waiting to drink with somebody. He's got that one there, the 2015 Retribution. He's got a 2017 Dogfish Head 120 minutes. So Josh got some good stuff.
He's collecting, which is great. I don't have a bunch of old stuff I've saved. I have the Bourbon County stuff, the 16, 17, 18, and 20. I had the 19 with you and Bumpy and miscellaneous. But I still have 3 of the 20.
Right. Okay. Well, I found a way that I could actually order some of the 20. So
over the internet.
Yeah, miscellaneous did a video yesterday. I guess he ordered some beer from this website, craftshack.com, and the Bourbon County 2020 is on there. Now it's $17.99 for a bottle, and you have to have a minimum of a $30 purchase for them to ship to you. But they've got all kinds of cool stuff on there. So I think I'm gonna order some stuff, and Miscellaneous's package was perfectly intact. They packaged everything really nicely, so there was no damage. Now I'd have to be here to sign for it because it is alcohol, and I guess, but I guess basically that's a loophole. They don't look at individual state laws for the alcohol. You know, if you order it, they send it to you as long as you're 21 or older and can sign for it. So may have to do that.
And you might still get the one at some point from Todd. Maybe he's just been busy doing other stuff and hasn't been able to send it to you.
Right. Yeah, I'll follow up with him. I just didn't want to. I wanted to give it adequate time because I don't really know Todd that well, and he kind of just offered to send me something, so I don't want to pressure him. But I'll follow up with him probably next week about it and just see what's, you know, he did ask for so he does have my address and all that. So, you know, he wouldn't have asked if he wasn't planning on sending something. He's
been doing a lot of videos with his partner on both beer and on hard alcohol that I've seen on YouTube. So he's been busy and maybe, you know, it's spending a lot of time. And obviously he's young enough where he's still working like you. So he's got a job doing something. So maybe he's busy.
Right. Okay.
I think I told you tomorrow is my big night. I'll have all the people will be over, and Gail's going to bring beer, and this other guy Eric is going to bring beer, and Brian just brings chips. I think you saw Brian on one of the ones too. He was at our house.
Yeah, he was kind of off camera, but I could hear him talking, and
he's a kind of cut up kind of guy who he makes a lot of jokes and stuff. He's into beer, but it's like he's like a classic beer person in that if it's got, you know, he puts stuff in it, he decides it's not a beer kind of thing where he'll say, this really is not beer to me. But again, look, I just want somebody to give fair ratings and a fair thing. And as long as you rate fairly, you can say anything you want. It really doesn't matter. And I like to have more people because the more people you have, then the averages work out more fairly when you figure it out. But 5 people is certainly better than, you know, 2. So these are regular
5 people, including you and Audrey, or 5 people.
So 3 other people: Gail, Brian, and this guy Eric who comes. Eric brings beer too, and it's good when other people bring beer because then I don't know what it is before. And when I pour my own, I know what it is, and I have to be biased just because I am. If I know what it is, I'm going to be a little bit biased, but I try not to be if I can. But sometimes. I was also thinking, if we decided not to do one of the beers you have, I could always do one of the Georgia beers at the tasting I do in March.
I'll tell you. Well, okay, so one of the other ones I'm out of. I can get more, but if you want to do that, the Mighty Banana, I drank my last one the other day accidentally. I thought I had another one in the back of it. My beer, I have so much beer in my fridge that I lose track of how many I have. So anyway, if you want to do that one, have at it. If not, I'll go get another 4-pack.
Okay, I could do the Mighty Banana, and then you could be the contributor. You'll get credit for it. I'll tell you. This is what
that. Right, and that still leaves us the Quad Stack. Rolling Deeper. That's the name of it. Rolling Deeper Cinnamon Roll Stout, and I think one other one too. I still have 5 in the refrigerator right now. So okay, so
a few left that we have not done yet. We can continue to do those examinations. But I've been happy. I haven't had a pontoon yet, but I've been happy with the 2 Wild Leaps I've had. I like the Creature Comfort. I was explaining to my nephew, and he thought he had both the pale ale you sent me, and he had the IPA. He liked the IPA better. The what was it called?
So Tropicalia is so popular here, and I've only had it once or twice on draft. I don't think I've ever actually had it in the can. I was at the gas station went by on my way home from work. The gas stations sell the 16-ounce cans of Tropicalia 2 for $6 at pretty much every gas station. So I picked up 2 cans. I don't think I've even reviewed it on my channel, so I'm going to do a review of it. I was looking at I think it was Rate Beer, and I didn't realize how highly it was rated. It's rated like a 98 on Rate Beer.
He was trying to find one in North Carolina where he lives that was a similar I think he called it a tropical style IPA is what he thought it tasted
To
like.
me, it's more West Coast. It's more of like, a traditional IPA. But I mean, it's good. I just would have never guessed that it was rated that highly on Rate Beer or Beer Advocate. Maybe both. I would have never expected that. But
and also I have this other thing. I don't know if I mentioned this to you or not. It's called Pints of Love, and it's Gail's son and one of I probably have not mentioned it to you. Anyway, this is going to be a deal. It's going to be over Valentine's Day weekend, which is not this weekend coming up. It's next weekend, where by investing a lot of money, and I'm willing to do it because I like Gail's son a lot. So everybody who wanted to do it invested $100 if you were in New York, $90 if you were in North Carolina, and a $15 fee to be online to discuss the beers. So for that $100 or $90 in North Carolina, you get 12 craft beers from 12 different breweries, including Other Half, which is the one you've heard so much about, and 11 others. And I got the New York one because in North Carolina, you have to be in the state in order to pick it up. So I have to drive to a brewery to pick up this thing. It's going to come with chocolates in it, with a beer glass, with coupons. And he's going to be running like regular events over Valentine's weekend discussing the different beers. I'll let you know more when I get it.
Yeah. So Gail, so he's affiliated with, like, how does that work?
He's on, actually, what you can do is he has a website called 90 Second Reviews. You can look him up on the internet. 90 Second Reviews. This is Gail's son, Howard.
So this is like a YouTube channel, or
well, it's like a Facebook thing, but you're on Facebook too,
right?
So it's on the internet. Look up, and it's 90 second beer reviews. Look it up.
Okay.
And it's funny. I've met him in person because I went to his, before he was married, I went to his party and stuff. But I've never really done a lot of beer stuff with him. We had beers at his party. It's not the same thing. I've wanted him to come to one of my beer things, but then COVID came in, and now he doesn't come in from North Carolina. He used to come into New York once a month, and we were trying the timing, whatever. And he's obviously really close to Gail because he's her son, so he gives her a lot of beers too. When she goes down to North Carolina, he's got a bunch of them for her to take back, and those are a lot of the beers we get at my monthly things. Gail brings them too, which is terrific.
Right. Cool. Okay.
But if you get a chance, look at 90 Second Beer Reviews.
I will check. Yeah, as soon as we get off here, I'm going to go look it up. Yeah,
and click on Pints of Love, which is the thing that he's doing now. And the only reason it's not practical for you is you have no way to pick up the beer because you're in Georgia. You're not in North Carolina or New York. So if you're in one of these states, you could do it. Otherwise, it becomes impossible. But I'll let you know after we do the events how it works out, because I've never been at something where there's going to be a big group of people all having the same beer on a Zoom chat, which should be very interesting. Gail is doing it too. So we'll both be on.
That'll be pretty cool.
From each of our houses, unless you want to get together, we could do it together also. Because Gail and I both have had our first vaccine too. So my next one's coming up in 3 weeks. So I'm not quite as nonchalant as Ron. Jay, he's a little bit more nonchalant about what's going on. It's fine. If he wants to be nonchalant, he can. And that's it. I still think it's going on. I still think you have to be careful. And the more people who get vaccinated, the better. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Well, especially around here, the people in the facilities. That's and that's where they're focusing their efforts on mostly, at least initially, is the hospitals, the assisted living, and the skilled nursing homes, because that's where you have all of these people cluttered together. So
right, and people over 65 who might have conditions where if they did get a serious case, it could be the end of the line. We're trying to avoid that happening to anybody. But and we were discussing this before, Audrey and I, even if it's not COVID, if the COVID causes you to have a heart attack, that's still the disease is still partially involved in it. So, if there was no COVID causing it, you might not have a heart attack.
Right.
It's a contributory thing. The other thing I was going to ask you, what else does Wild Leap make? I tried an IPA. Now I've tried a coffee stout. Do they also make sours?
Yes, they have an entire line of sours. I was going to send you one, but they're not in season now. They have an entire line of sours called Vacanza, Vacanza. They have a key lime pie goza. They have a blueberry. They have an orange creamsicle. They also have another series called Truck Chaser, which if I could have gotten you one of these, they're some of the best IPAs I've ever had. They're called the Truck Chaser IPA series, and they're milkshake IPAs. I could have brought one to Publishing, but they're not in season now. They are New England style IPAs with lactose, and then they add orange, or they have a lemon pie one, or a lemon icebox one where they add fresh lemon juice, and I mean they're amazing.
Sounds really good.
So in the summertime, when they put these beers back out, I'll have to send you another beer mail because you would love. I mean, you would love these. They're the best. They're among the best IPAs I've ever had because they're so unique, and that whole milkshake thing with the lactose in there and the ice cream truck logo on the label. I mean, it's just such a cool beer or series.
Do you have a little bit of this left? Do you have some of your?
I've been savoring it. Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to take another sip because I have a question. I'm finding now the coffee to be coming on stronger as it's getting warmer. Are you getting that?
Yeah. So the coffee is a little bit stronger, and it's still not boozy, but I can feel it warming going down the throat a little bit now, whereas before I couldn't.
Right. So that's something with beer. If you have it at a little bit colder temperature, it does also cover up some of the, but that's not necessarily a knock on it because as any beer gets warmer, it's going to do that no matter what it is.
Yeah, I find that the coffee comes on a little stronger. The chocolate almost goes away. The coconut's still there.
It's right now it's coffee and coconut, and you can taste a little bit of the alcohol now, which I couldn't taste before at all.
Yep, you're right. But that's one of the reasons I love doing these live things where you're talking for a half hour or so.
You get it.
Beers just develop as they warm. These porters and stouts, especially your darker beers in particular, they just develop really nicely, and some not so nicely. This one is interesting because the coffee's coming through more. It doesn't lower the score or anything. It's just a little bit different now as it's warming.
You're getting it at different stages, but you're finding out what the beer is really like, and it's still smooth. It hasn't changed the smoothness at all. It's still very smooth going down.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more coffee forward than it was. I can still taste the coconut as well. Excellent. This would be, like I said, I've given 99s to Bourbon County and CBS. I gave the KBS a 97, so I'm rating this higher than the KBS. So that's one, and 97 is no insult either. So I haven't had the Mackinac Fudge, so I can't say. Shane gave that 100. So I mean,
yeah, he loves his Founders Stout.
There will reach a point where I give 100. It has to come. Something's just going to set off. It'll be that kind of moment, and I'll say, "Well, this is it," because I'm here. And
I don't know. It may not come until you go knocking on those pearly gates,
maybe it'll be a beer at the top. And
the Lord's Stout that might be the one that finally gets 100.
Maybe that'll be now. People can set up their own system. Like, it's funny, Jay has his system where he will give 100, and he even has 100 plus, which to me, why would you have 100 plus? But whatever.
I've kind of told him, but because he was a teacher for all those years, so he believes in extra credit. I don't believe in extra credit.
100 is 100. That's
100%.
it. I mean, that's the top. I mean, you can't go on. Look, he wants to give extra credit. I know his, was it Westerveltian 12? What's the one?
Oh yeah, the West
Flitarian.
Yeah.
He paid $84 or $86 for a 6-pack of it, and he said it was the best beer he ever had. I've never had it. I've had the other 12. What's the other one?
St. Bernardus App 12, which is actually the same recipe, I believe, or the St. Bernardus was the original recipe and they changed it up slightly. But I bet it's so close that it's hard to tell the difference. And I've heard, I mean, obviously I haven't had the West Flitarian 12, but Shane Fudge has, and he has talked about it and basically said that they're very, very similar. So the way that I see it is, if they're that close, then it wouldn't be worth that much more money to get the West Flitarian 12.
Right. And even the St. Bernardus is not easy to find all the time.
And the St. Bernardus for me was the App 12 was a 98 or 99 out of 100.
It was the same for me. Very excellent and top of the line kind of stuff. No question about it.
Right.
This has been an amazing beer. I'm really happy with it.
Awesome. Yeah, I figured you'd like that. I had my fingers crossed, and I think you'll like the other beer from them as well. Although that one's even sweeter than this, but I think it's still pretty well balanced. This is the first year. So last year in 2019, because technically the Rollin' Deeper is a 2020 release. So in 2019 they had Rollin' Deep Cinnamon Roll Stout, which was 10%. 2020, they had Rollin' Deeper, which is the one that you got, where they upped it from 10 to 12.5. So This is kind of new territory for me as well, because I've only had 2 cans of the Rollin' Deeper. I've got one in the fridge, and then I sent you the other one. So this will only be my 3rd can of the beer. So it's a newer beer for me as well.
Okay, so we'll have to do that in an examination coming up in the next few weeks for sure. I'll have more free time because some of Jay's stuff I'm not going to be able to get. I'll keep trying. He gave me a place where I might be able to get the Tona, but now it looks like he might go to the Mackinac Fudge, which might be something that's even harder to find. So I can keep looking.
And I'm going to try to get the Tona this weekend and some Mackinac Fudge because they would both be at the same store at Brandon's Package in Peachtree City. So I'll look for both, and hopefully I'll be able to find at least one and be able to join one of those events.
And next week is Sierra Nevada Bigfoot, if you can somehow find one. But I don't know.
I've seen it once in my life a few years ago, and I have not seen it since.
How about when you were in Columbus? Is that where you saw it the one time?
Yeah. Yep, it was the 2017 release when I was living in Columbus, and I passed on it back then because, I don't know, I was kind of newer to Georgia, and I was focusing more on all the local craft stuff, and I was like, Sierra Nevada's a dime a dozen. I've had a lot of stuff from them, so I wasn't too interested in picking it up at the time.
Well, I saw it like a month ago in Whole Foods. And
really?
And again, all I said was, I've had it before. It's not like I've never tasted it. It's a really good barley wine. What use do I have for that barley wine? And what I should have been saying is, maybe I will have a use for it and buy it. I went back 2 weeks later, all gone. Now, for all I know, they might have just had a couple of them. Whatever.
It was the 2020 release?
It's a newer one, but it could have been 2019. Maybe it was in 2020. But the fact that what's it called? Who's the guy from Virginia we were talking about before? He's probably still watching. Who has all the older beers?
Josh. But
he has an older one of the 120. I don't know if he has any Bigfoot ones or not. We didn't ask him if he had Sierra Nevada Bigfoot or not.
If I had to guess, I would say he probably does. I don't know if he's in Virginia or Pennsylvania, but he's somewhere up there. Yeah.
And he has something to do with distributing beer too, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he is a distributor. Yeah, he works for a distributor.
Which probably gives him more access to.
Which would make sense because he's got all these wonderful beers that he's always drinking. So
Right.
Well, let's see. We've been going forward. I guess we can go ahead and wrap this up.
Certainly can. It's been an experience, and this is something I would recommend to anybody who's into any kind of coffee stout. It's excellent.
Even if you're not a huge fan of coffee stouts, this one you might like, because I'm not a huge coffee guy, but I love this one because of how well balanced it is. So
right. No, it's extremely good. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for sending it to me.
You're very welcome. Yeah. Thanks for joining me for this examination. Thank you to all of the viewers in the chat. We appreciate it. We wouldn't be here without you. Some great comments tonight, talking about some great beers, and looking forward to doing another one soon. So y'all keep your eyes peeled for Wednesday night. We'll probably do another one next Wednesday, I would imagine. We'll decide on the beer here within the next few days, and it'll be after Ron Terrio's show on Wednesday night. So until then, cheers, everybody. And
see you on Stout Sunday, too.
Yes, Stout Sunday at 10:30 Eastern, Super Bowl edition. So, all right. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.